Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler video series videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie, I'm trying out some vegetarian fries with this one, so I'm pretty excited. But, folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck, and whilst I'm doing all that, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. And, folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? I was completely off on that. I have no rhythm. Boom! It's the Waterfall King shirt. That's their super cool logo. What the fuck is the Water King? They are a local band out of Illinois from the very doomy sludge metal variety. If you're unfamiliar with doom metal, if you ever decide to check it out, make sure you take time out of your day because, like, the average doom metal song has got to be at least 7 minutes. But yeah, they're a local band that I've been fortunate enough to be affiliated with for a number of years now. The lead singer slash guitarist is a guy who I've known even longer than that. He was previously in a band called Phantoms and Pestilence, who I absolutely fucking loved. And, eventually decided to move on to this particular project. They've been going for a number of years now. They've been really successful, especially for a local band. They're actually going to be, at the time I'm doing this, going to be doing a little mini tour. Just like a few dates and stuff like that out of state. But, like, that's pretty fucking crazy. I really like these folks a lot. They're extremely talented, extremely wonderful people. So much so, I've seen them perform live a few times. I actually have videos of said performances on this channel. If nothing else, if any of that sounds interesting to you, I'd be more than happy to point you in their direction because I think they're phenomenal. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Like I said, it's some vegetarian fries because I headed back out to, boom, that's not a thing. I headed out to a local establishment that I reviewed a few things from called I Love Fries. They're a local place. I believe they're out of Villa Park, Illinois. Either Villa Park or Elmhurst. Like, they're like right on the fucking border there. But I believe they're Villa Park. I reviewed a few of their different fries, and that's what they specialize in. They basically just have, different types of fries, specialty fries, plus some other stuff. And originally I wanted to get their hot honey fries, but unfortunately they were sold out. But I was looking over their menu, and they have, a protein menu, and they also have a vegetarian menu. These happen to be their, let's get the thing. These happen to be their, boom, Masala Fries, which, nope, that's the wrong thing. Their Masala Fries consist of basically fries and then Indian-inspired seasonings, including things like citrus, mint, and chili spices. And yeah, man, I knew I was going to be doing, because I just got through reviewing some carne asada fries from them, which, go watch that video. But I knew since that was like a big one, I wanted to get a smaller thing to go along with it. So I decided to get some Masala Fries. And I do think it's really awesome that they have, a protein menu and then also a vegetarian option as well. So, let's get a thing for the thing, because it looks like that. Ha 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 ha! Those are pretty sexy looking. Let's give these a go. Oh, and by the way, what with this being a local establishment, it's going to end up in my Eating Out Illinois playlist, which is a playlist for just local establishments to Illinois. Ooh. That's got some proper kick to it. Like, it's not crazy spicy at all, but it's just the fucking hit of the spices, man. That's some good stuff. I can get down with that. I like this. Ooh. Heavy on the spices. These are definitely going to be kind of a love it or hate it item for some people. Because I think you're either going to be willing to go with what they're doing with it, or you're not. Because there's a lot of depth of flavor. There's not a lot of subtlety. It is a fucking hit to the face. One thing I will say, you can definitely taste the different elements, things that they were talking about. Which for me is really nice because one of the things that they have on there is mint. I love mint. I love it, especially when you use it in like concert with other contrasting flavors. It's not a heavy mint flavor. It's a nice little accent. But it works really well because it's not got that nice contrasting thing with, with the citrus, with the sort of masala flavor and everything. Kind of freshens it up a little bit. And the citrus gives it kind of a little extra tanginess. Yeah. It's mainly, I'd say the biggest flavor for sure is like the chili spices. But then it kind of like midway through, you get sort of hints of the mint and kind of just freshens it up a little bit, gives a little bit of a cooling thing, kind of gives your palate a little bit of a refresher. And then at the very end, you get a little bit of a tanginess from whatever that citrus is. These are good. I do like these. But I have to admit, they are really fucking tasty though. I do have to admit though, out of the fries that I've had from I Love Fries, which I've had their pork belly fries, their carne asada fries, and their Philly cheesesteak fries, I have to admit, these are probably my least favorite, which is a little bit unfortunate because I love the seasoning and everything that they're doing with it. It is just one of those things, to a certain extent, lacking a protein, obviously is going to go over there and kind of hamper it against the protein stuff, but I'm not trying to hold that against it. They're super flavorful. I do really like them for what they are, but I think that, for one thing, I'm thinking sort of masala flavors, and I am not a fucking Indian food expert or anything. I need to review more Indian food, really. I can definitely get sort of an Indianish vibe, but I don't know that I'm really getting like a masala vibe, at least like kind of the masala that I'm used to. I get that they're inspired by, it's not a direct thing. But I kind of think this is one of those ones where I think if they tweaked it a little bit, gave it a little bit more of a direct sort of Indian kind of style and flavor, a little bit more of that like direct masala flavor, I think this is one of those things that could be, I think they're already really good, but I think it could push it kind of into that upper tier. But they're super flavorful. They're very, very tasty. I love the originality of it. Like, I've had plenty of weird fry combinations, like gyro fries and fucking, again, all the stuff I've had from Milo fries. I've never had one with, like, sort of Indian inspiration. And I think that's the only thing for me is, like, again, I think these are really good, and I'm perfectly fine with them being vegetarian, but I feel like you could spruce these up. I feel like these could be elevated to that next level and really be something really nice and special, as is, whereas the other dishes, the other fries that I've had from them have felt like main events. This one does feel a little bit more like a direct side order. So that's kind of where I'm taking it. But two questions have to be asked. Would I get them again? Would I recommend them? And to that end, yes and yes, albeit with a little bit of a caveat. I think for me personally, although like I said, I would like to see these I'd like to see them take another crack at these. I think that what they've got here is a good base, but I think that just a little bit here and there, and I'm not a fucking chef, so don't, I'm not even trying to pretend. But I do think these are one of those ones where I really think they could be something just like, holy shit, like fantastic. They're not quite there with this incarnation. But I would definitely still get them again, especially because they are one of most of their like fry orders, you have to get as larges. This is one of the ones that you can get as a small, and in that capacity, they work really great. They're a nice, small fries as, again, like a side order kind of thing. But I do think, again, if they want that main event status for me, work with it a little bit, play more into the masala aspects and stuff. I think it could be a real fucking showstopper. But even as is, I still think they're good, and I would get them because, if nothing else, they're tasty, and I can't think of any other place where I could get these before, otherwise. If I'm recommending them, it's not, again, there's a little bit of a caveat. I would still recommend them because I think that they're really tasty, but I think there's a few things to take into account. One is expectation. I think that if you're expecting like a very heavy inspired masala flavor, again, there's some of that, but I don't think it really, gets to that true promise of what it could be. So you got to kind of take that into account. And the other thing is, if I'm comparing this against like the other mainstay fries that they have available, this one is more of a sideshow, And while I do really like it, I think that for most people, again, I think these would be good, especially with how flavorful they are. These would be good as a small order, as like a side thing, instead of just that mainstay thing as is. But I would still definitely check them out. Like they're really tasty and good, just maybe not at the level of some of the other ones I've had from them. But anyway, 5 things for a good night here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of months. Spend this rest of your folks. Go over there and have yourselves a truly masala-tastic rest of your life. Like I said, I really need to review more Indian food. There's not a lot of like Indian places in my immediate area though. Like there's a couple ish, but I gotta get into that. I love Indian food. It's just again availability. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do can't do all the time. I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you do, folks. You're gonna try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important that we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there, maybe you're going to watch this review, and maybe you're like the foremost masala expert this side of the Mississippi. I don't know. And maybe you're going to go over there and comment to the effect and, be like, well, Brandon, actually, the spices, you heard me say it. I'm not an expert on Indian food. Every now and again, doesn't happen often, but every now and again, I'll get a comment to the effect of like, you should do more research, and you come off like you're ignorant. I am ignorant. That's part of what I'm doing this for, is I'm, expanding my palate and getting to go over there and jump into things. And ultimately, I'm not going over there and trying to come up with a perfect history or representation of these things. I'm trying to tell you how they taste in my personal experience with them. And hopefully you folks enjoy, taking that ride with me. But yeah, I would absolutely think that, like I said, man, let me know, if you get to this far at the end. I know a lot of people drop off by the outro, but what's your personal take on Indian food? Do you think I should hit up more of it? I'm going to regardless, but